compared to like Druid or Priest or Hunter. Do you remember that class?
Poor Hunter.
I played Hunter once upon a time. You know, I think I was still in the middle of graduating high school or something like that. I was skipping homeroom to play some Hunter.
It was about 14 years ago.
Back when I was a little rascal on the streets of New Jersey. Well, INER here is going to be immediately carrying his momentum into another Zoo Warlock. Now, the mirror is, I would say it's very volatile, even more so than before. The previous Zoo matchups used to be determined a lot by Knife Juggler and how those outcomes happen. But that was actually a way you can come back. Implosion was a card for you to make a comeback in the past. Now these days, it's one of those situations where just because you have like an early game board, you can leverage that so much more because of how flimsy your board usually becomes in the Zoo matchups.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, it's funny how many I feel like we've seen so many Shaman decks this weekend, or not Shaman, Warlock decks this weekend.
Yeah, we've seen Reno Warlock, we've seen Zoo Warlock, and I mean, honestly, like, based off how this opening hand is from Cipher, I wouldn't be too upset to be in his position. He does have, like, Knife Juggler and Forbidden Ritual. That's actually a really good combination. Combo. Even if you just get, like, 3 Juggles off of it. I was going to
say, like, 3 guys is just fine still. Like, you go turn 2 Juggler, turn 3 Forbidden Ritual, and it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Especially if your opponent's board is, like, 2 Abusive Sergeants or a Dark Peddler, like, you can probably hit something.
Yeah. Well, INER here picks up the Dark Peddler, and he has the option to go for the Abusive Sergeant trades and put more power. It's one of those questions where, do I value more power onto the board to address future threats, or do I really want to try and play Dark Peddler, play it more value-oriented?
Is he getting 5 into the face right here?
That's an interesting question, because if he trades for the Flame Imp, he has 4 power on board still, and I like that position.
Yeah, okay.
I think in this matchup, even though you're playing an aggressive version of your deck, I think board still is the king.
Still's more important. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, this does, to be fair, this makes the Knife Juggler Forbidden Ritual a lot better, but the Knife Juggler also has to survive. So
right. I have to imagine Imp Gang Boss here is like the big play for Cipher.
Yeah, which is very good against this board right here.
It makes Juggler better. You have Possessed Villager the following turn. Also, in the event where your opponent mystically decides to trade, you have Power Overwhelming to help seize back the board. Also, his opponent used both of his Abusive Sergeants, so it's not like he actually has a way to easily buff it. He has to get it off Peddler.
In the land of 2/1s, the guy with a bunch of 1/1s is king, I think.
Well, I mean, if you could choose only one or the other, I guess 2/1s wouldn't be the worst. But yeah, like in this case, the guy that's spawning 1/1s, really good.
If you're able to make multiple 1/1s from single cards, and take out multiple 2/1s that are individual cards themselves, I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, certainly.
We'll find out though.
Okay, well, INER has no reason to trade into the Imp Gang Boss, giving it value. I mean, if you attack into the Imp Gang Boss, you're essentially giving it more attacks than it actually has. So I like pushing face. Plus, the more you lower your opponent's health, the less room that they have to life tap in the future.
Yeah, I like Juggler Abusive Sergeant here. This is a good play. It gets rid of the Voidwalker.
Oh no, that's a bad juggle. And if another one misses,
okay. Yes, that was a great hit. I got excited there.
You can't be too unhappy for INER because it could have been much worse, but you're still relatively unhappy that your opponent had those cards in the first place.
Worth noting, I have no horse in the race here. I just I like a good hit there.
Yeah, I mean, Frank is done.
An accurate juggle
with his predictions. His one guy Tice got through. RDU put up a great fight. Pretty reasonable picks overall.
I was glad. I was happy with my choices.
Well, INER just gonna go for the easy trade. Plays Soulfire. I was wondering if he's gonna play Flame Imp and just kind of ignore the Imp Gang Boss, but he's willing to forgo that just so that he has a stronger board. And I don't mind that again. I think board is king. And that's a pretty good card, Abusive Sergeant, to pick up an easy trade from the 2/4.
Abusive Sergeant 4 and Imp Gang Boss.
I was looking at Powerful before. I'm like, that doesn't feel good at all.
You can actually clear the board here and keep an Abusive Sergeant out.
I believe a 1/1 would
right.
still stick around.
Technicalities.
Yeah. But I mean, I know what you mean. Like, effectively take away his biggest threats here. He chooses to use Power Overwhelming. Okay, so that means that he wants to play Forbidden Ritual instead. Just like have 3 1/1s, answer the 1/1. Okay. Don't mind that either. Forbidden Ritual. Spend all your mana, summon that many tentacles. Of course, you can't summon more than 7. Just for anybody who's playing with this card. So make sure you life tap when you can squeeze it in. Oh, that's not a good card for Cipher to look at right now. He sees the M-King boss, but that Gormok is just a little bit too early.
Just one turn too shy here. And unfortunately, I don't know if those tentacles are going to survive until he needs them to.
Here's like a huge difference between having a 1/1 survive and not. Like you can just see that if Gormok was able to have even 3 minions and then you play the Possessed Villager and Gormok.
Just be able to shoot the M-King boss right now, that would be such a good play.
It's almost game deciding based off how that's able to swing, but Cipher can't. I think he still plays Gormok just because it's 4/4. It's the strongest minion on board. He's gonna have to ignore the rest, and hopefully these tentacles can at least do some damage to his opponent, which is important. Oh no, we're talking about some of the more volatile aspects of this matchup, and this is it. Flame Juggler and Knife Juggler. Let's see where INER is able to land. He's doing some preliminary scouting, sending the M-King boss to see where it hit.
One down. Oh wow, the perfect hits.
And a third one. Cipher is kind of devastated.
Well, that's not how he wanted things to play out, I imagine.
Yeah.
No, Defender of Argus is not terrible.
No, it's actually a good draw.
Yeah, we could life tap too if we want to. That seems pretty good.
I'm trying to see like if he should play Abusive Sergeant at all, because he can pick up Trade, but I don't know if I like that at all. Because there's a lot of bad outcomes with the juggle that comes off of. Unfortunately, with how you sequence it, you probably want to kill the Knife Juggler first and then go for the trade, if you want to do that. And Dark Peddler does introduce this element of like you don't have to play Defender of Argus. You can play Dark Peddler, pick up another 1-mana card that could be really useful.
Yeah, it could just change the board as well.
Maybe even Soulfire.
Or you can play both. I mean, but yeah. Oh, now you can. He did life tap, but I do want to get that. Knife Juggler and that Imp-Gang boss off the board. Yeah, I think he does too.
Knife Juggler is definitely one of the most threatening. Don't kill the Imp-Gang boss just because you spawn an extra 1/1 for your opponent. Leroy Jenkins makes his way into the hand, but he's going to have to sit in the sidelines until his time is called. And a very big opportunity for INER to solidify his lead. Because you just put the Possessed Villager on the far left or right. Probably on the far left.
What do you think the difference is between far left and far right?
Well, actually, now that he's used all of his Imp Gang bosses, the only card that really comes to mind is Forbidden Ritual. If you put it on the far left, then Forbidden Ritual spawns on the far right always. So you always have.
You guys aren't competing with the bonus.
Yeah, Direwolf Alpha, he's got a lot of love to give, but only to his left and right. So make sure
only to his closest friends.
That's right.
What do you take here? Is it Blood Imp?
Blood Up is the best stats. You do lower yourself to 15 health, maybe even more depending on the life tap here. Oh, Imp Gang boss is good. That's a very good card.
Oh, you thinking Blood? I was thinking Blood Imp. I think you were thinking Flame Imp. There were 2 imps.
Yeah, sorry. So the Flame Imp is just like the best stats, a 3/2. Blood Imp, probably not impactful enough, even though you do have an Abusive Sergeant. Just because you can count it as like a 0/2.
Yeah,
like it doesn't really do too much outside of that. Imp Gang boss though, very big. Oh man, INER's 1 buff card away from guaranteeing himself a lead. No, he can't. If he life taps, he only can play those 2 cards for 6 mana. Right now he has 13 damage.
Yeah, he's gonna do it anyway.
Oh, he's 1 mana off lethal.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting draw there.
How do you do this?
6, 9, 10. That's literally.
Okay. Is he feeling himself right now where he's just like, I go for it. He's ready to play his Defender of Argus. He might, because he has 1/1s, right?
He's at 19. I think he just don't you just Leroy +4/+4 and then next turn Soulfire for the win? Like I don't think you'd be in that much danger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
like you take 8 at most. Like your opponent, I don't think your opponent can generate
life.
11 damage, 11 extra damage.
Yeah, there's that. But you also give your opponent 2 extra damage.
Right. But I've
So
already
there's
taken.
8.
Yeah, I took that into account though. So it would be 8 on
Right.
board.
So he can trade 1 and then play Leroy and Power Overwhelming on his 1/1.
Yeah, just so long as you get Cipher to 4.
Okay. I guess it doesn't really matter. I was like, I think I'd rather keep Leroy than the 1/1, but it feels kind of the same thing. Cipher kind of knows what's going up though. If your opponent's doing that meticulous amount of setup for 4 health exactly, you're within Soulfire range, and that's why we're talking about how this matchup can just end in a heartbeat because you're not sure how it actually ends up shaping up with direct damage in hand with 2 Soulfires in each other's decks.
I also think the targeting Leroy was probably just a like a mental slip where you see the plan and you're like, I can play this, then I can play this, and you don't actually consider playing it on your other guys because you're just too focused on this linear plan.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the only way Cipher can actually heal himself, assuming he traded on the board, was to get a Voodoo Doctor off of a Dark Peddler. Oh, Defender Vargas, you're too late.
It's real close though. I mean, like he did actually get a lot of with the Direwolf Alpha and the Defender Vargas, and the Abusive Sergeant.
I mean, it's a reasonable damage. I think it's like 10 to 12.
Yeah, but it's still like it's not 19. That's for sure.
I see Cypher's gonna do his due diligence, trade on the board, and make sure he gets out. But INER, he's already grinning from celebration. But series isn't over yet. This is gonna wrap up game number 3, and that's gonna put INER to win on his Shaman deck to try and punch his ticket to the Spring Regionals.
And Soulfire to the face, just as we predicted.
All right, so fireworks to
Not
end
bad.
game number 3.